and welcome to the channel. My name is David. Thank you for clicking on this link. For those of you who were here and watched me react to Hi-Ren, thank you very much for returning. Today I'm going to be doing Sick Boy. I'm very interested because I really liked Hi-Ren, and I have a lot of suggestions from people from the first reaction that I did, and I thank you very much for all of that. I promise I will get through them all. Looking forward to it, but like usual, because I'm not worried about copyright with Ren, because he wants people to share his music, I'm going to listen to the whole song and then react at the end. But because I am a clinical nurse specialist in chronic diseases, I'll mention the music and what I liked, what I didn't like, but I'm going to try and focus on anything that might be more relevant to health related issues, because that just might be a little bit something different for you to hear somebody like me discuss these things. That's it. I won't talk too much and I won't bore you, but I just want to thank everybody for viewing my first video and returning. Thank you very much.
Hi Ren, thank you for coming in today.
Thanks for seeing me.
Looking at your file here, it seems there's a very apparent interplay with your emotional state and your physical body. Have you ever heard of the trauma response?
I don't think so.
Basically, our bodies can get stuck in a negative feedback loop. Our subconscious can repeat patterns from the past, which can have a pretty drastic downstream effect on our biology. Essentially, your mind is making you sick.
Sick boy, bitten by a tick boy, looking for that fix boy, anabolic steroids, stem cell, poster boy, pass out, white noise, quick fix, snake oil, I'm about to break boy. Oh, what a shame, he's in pain, have another go, take another pill, here, take a couple more, let's see how you're doing in another week or so, you'll be feeling worse when the side effects will show, derealization, medical patient, losing patience with the process, walking hand in hand with Satan, complications with the medication, inflammation, dehydration, inhalation, aggravation, building up a toleration, drown, soccer, drown, soccer, drown, soccer, drown, I've been feeling like I'm drowning with my feet upon the ground, I've been screaming, I've been shouting, but I never make a sound, I've been looking for a way out, but I always seem to drown.
Is this all making sense, Ren?
Yeah, I think so.
Good. What I propose we do is we try to pinpoint the exact experiences from the past that are keeping you stuck. What can you tell me about your childhood?
I can't really think.
It's okay if nothing comes up right away. What I'd like you to do is take some deep breaths with me. In and out. In and out. Good. Now tell me the first thing that comes to your mind.
I feel like it's not me, it's the world that's sick. We're given everything we need and we commoditize it. We consume, we destroy like we're parasitic. Science tells us that it's suicide and still we commit. I'm not sick, we are standing on a cliff in the name of progress. We jump off the precipice. I'm not sick, I'm the virus, you're the virus, hypocrite. How can you sit there with that smile on and tell me that I'm sick? Sick boy, looking for a fix boy. Push it down in public, quick pose for the pick boy. Record label meetings that commodify your gift boy. Why you so upset? Don't you wanna be a rich boy? Fuck no, industry is cutthroat. I've been doing bits by myself, swimming backstroke, walking on a tightrope, rapping with a slit throat. The way that we persist is like the ending of a bad joke. As the people evolve, we're complacent to assailants and we do what we're told. Counterintelligence, a sight to behold. Rape the earth of all resources and we bleed it for gold. And we bleed it for wealth, we bleed it for fame. But when you bleed it, can you tell me what the fuck will remain? And I bleed in myself, I bleed in my brain. While I'm bleeding, I'm the reason, cause I'm doing the same.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm trying to speak a little louder today because I'm getting a new microphone in a couple of days. So for those that had difficulty hearing me in the first video, hopefully I come through a bit better in this one. Well, first of all, I really enjoyed that song. Obviously, it was quite different than Hi-Ren. It had a great beat. Just from a musical point of view, it's something that I definitely put on my playlist when I'm having a workout or taking the dog for a walk or something like that. Purely just from a musical point of view, but I guess trying to put on my nursing hat, my chronic disease nursing hat, what did I sort of pick up? Well, obviously I picked up a lot of distress from Ren during the song, especially in that early period when he's at the table talking to, I'm assuming it would be a psychiatrist, because they were handing out medications. A lot of distress, definitely showed that there was fear and being overwhelmed by everything that's going on. I think that that's quite a common thing for people with chronic diseases, especially if they're suffering from mental health issues as well, which chronic diseases can cause. It can be very fearful and a very overwhelming time, especially when you're given a lot of information by a lot of different healthcare workers. And you start thinking about mortality and things like that, even more for someone like Ren, who was misdiagnosed, because you kind of feel that you're getting the treatment, you're seeing the people that you're supposed to be seeing, the professionals, and nothing's working. In fact, you're actually getting worse. So I can definitely understand that feeling of being overwhelmed, fearful and distressed. I also noticed that there's a few references to the pig, like there was in High Ren. I get the impression that the pig is most likely someone from the health care facility, whether it was a psychiatrist or another doctor or a nurse, or just the whole system as a whole. Obviously there was some very bad things that went on and left a very bad taste in Ren's mouth, which is fair enough. I might be wrong, but I'm assuming that's relevant to the health service. There was a lot of other points that I had wrote down. He talks about the medications being snake oils, the different pills. Also a lot of talk about side effects. Now when it comes to medications, when it comes to modern medications, they do work, they are effective, they've been tested, but they only work if you have the condition that they are meant to be used on. So for example, if you have normal blood pressure, it's not a good idea to be taking blood pressure pills. So I guess the fact with Ren, he was misdiagnosed. So he's being treated for conditions that he probably didn't have. So therefore those medications would definitely be terrible. And I guess he would have felt like it was snake oil, that they were just giving him various medications and none of them were working. In fact, he was actually getting worse, which is terrible, which really is terrible. But I guess we just need to be mindful that medications actually do work if they are given for the right reasons. The side effects can be terrible of some of these medications, and the stronger the medications are, sometimes the stronger the side effects. But if it's not for you, if you don't have a particular condition and you're given that medication, you have the side effects and you don't get the benefits. So I really feel for him and anybody out there that is suffering because of misdiagnosis and being on the right treatments. There is a mention, and I know that a lot of people do talk about overprescribing of medications. It's a really difficult topic to discuss. It could take I could do an hour video on just this particular thing. From what I have seen personally in my 25 years working in the healthcare system, I don't see a lot of overprescribing from where I am. It doesn't mean that it doesn't happen, and I've heard a lot of stories and people talk about it all the time. Documentaries, I've seen things from America, from different parts of Australia and UK. So it most likely is an issue. I think that sometimes people are given medicines when I guess, for example, depression. Now, this is not very technical, but it's just easy to understand. Let's say you have mild depression, moderate depression, or severe depression, just so it's easy to understand. If you have mildly depressed, the chances are lifestyle factors can improve your symptoms or maybe even get rid of your symptoms. Diet, exercise, maybe having someone that you can talk to, whether a professional or a friend, things like that. Reducing stress in your life will often reduce the depressive and anxiety symptoms. If you have more of a moderate type of depression, there may be a need for medications on a short-term basis, but the other treatment's going to work. Having a healthy lifestyle, diet, exercise, someone to talk to, things like that, and maybe professional help will help. But if you have severe depression, the chances are you're probably going to need medication, and it may be a lifelong thing, especially if it's hereditary. And I think sometimes that when people have like mild or moderate symptoms, it's automatically go to the medication. Not always, but I think in some areas that does happen. Because in order to change lifestyle, it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of effort. And I think sometimes for patients, but also the health professional, maybe it's easier just to prescribe the medication. But, you know, that's a very complex issue and you know, it's too much to discuss on a reaction video. But I do get the point, and I have heard this before about overprescribing of medications. It's just that I guess I'm very lucky where I work, and the people that I work with, you know, they're very conservative when it gives to giving medication. So I guess that I'm very lucky in that way. I'll also mention of him drowning, feeling like he's drowning. Now that's very common to sort of get that sensation when you suffer from depression, anxiety, and stress, just over stress, especially when the stress never seems to go away, constant stress. And you get that when you have a chronic health condition, especially when that health condition is not being managed appropriately, misdiagnosed, and the treatments that you're on are not helping and are making things worse. So I would say that's probably the feeling of drowning, is that it's the anxiety, the stress, and the depression. I think that's very common symptoms that people get. There was also discussions that the world is sick and not him, and you know, I mean, I can't argue with that. He's talking about some social issues, resource issues, which, I mean, we all know that's what happens in this world. Industry cutthroat, that's not really my area. I've never worked in the music industry area, but from what I've heard, it is cutthroat. I suppose any multi-billion-dollar industry is probably cutthroat, but he seems to be doing very well on his own without being associated or affiliated with a particular record company. But look, I really enjoyed this, and it does give you something to think about, to be honest. As a healthcare professional, I think it's really important, and I think that most people that go into healthcare, whether it's nursing, medicine, physio, whatever it might be, I think the overwhelming majority of people go into these professions for the right reasons. They care about people, they feel good that they can earn a living and help people. It's also interesting because it's constantly changing. We're constantly learning new things, we're getting better treatment, we're getting better this, better that. So it's a really interesting area to work in health. But sure, there are the minority, and it's definitely a minority, a small percentage of people who go into it for the wrong reasons, whatever those reasons are. But when life gets tough, healthcare workers get sick. We have family members that die. We get chronic illness ourselves. Our kids get sick. We get tired, all this type of stuff. And I think that when these stresses happen to us, if we've got into the profession for the right reasons, then I think that lets us cope with things better, and therefore we treat our patients better. But if you go into health industry for the wrong reasons, maybe it's prestige, maybe you think being a doctor is high prestige, or maybe whatever it might be, and you're not there for the patient, then when life gets tough, I think that really affects your work. But it's definitely the minority. But I guess that's no consolation for people that have had to deal with the minority. Look, I don't want to talk too long. I don't know if anybody's still listening. I've been rambling a little bit. I really enjoyed this song. I'll definitely be listening to it many, many times. And it does give me professionally a few things to think about. And he certainly lived through something. I mean, he wrote this song, from what I believe. He writes all his own music, his own lyrics. And it's very hard to fake, I think. I mean, what he's going through and the emotions and the lyrics. You know, he talks about certain, you know, little things I pick up on here and there that only someone who's been through it or has a close friend or relative that's lived through chronic illness will pick up. I'm really enjoying it, and I will be back soon with another reaction. I did notice if my son popped his head up in the back. He was trying to be quiet, but he wanted to see what Dad was doing. So he'll be on YouTube. He'll be very happy. At the moment, the next reaction I'll do will be Illest of Our Time. I've had that request along with a lot of other ones, but I'm really enjoying this, and I hope you enjoyed it. So please give me a thumbs up if you liked it, a comment. Give me more feedback. I've got so much things to improve. I will be getting new speakers very soon, so hopefully the quality of this video will be a little bit better. But anyway, thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.